Trump ending DACA is part of white supremacy agenda. One of the nastiest moves the Democratic Party has made on the American people is trying to convince them that prioritizing Americans over foreigners for jobs and other benefits is not only not unpatriotic but is also somehow bad. Following President Donald Trump's announcement that he would be ending former President Barack Obama's illegal immigrant amnesty program DACA with a 6-month delay, a liberal commentator appeared on MSNBC and declared that Trump's move was part of a white supremacy agenda. Frequent guest Karine Jean-Pierre appeared as part of a panel discussion about North Korea and Hurricane Harvey and somehow turned it into a smear against Trump about how he's a bigot. Began Karine, "They have a tough time of it, Republicans on the Hill, because before the natural disaster of Harvey came along, they had a difficult September coming their way. And I just don't see how they're going to be able to do tax reform. There's still this question of even playing politics with Hurricane Harvey and taking $1 billion from the natural disaster relief for the wall." She continued, "So there is a lot there on the table. And, honestly, I mean, look, Chris, we are at an inflection point. We are closer to war than we've ever been with North Korea." In knee-jerk fashion, liberal Jean-Pierre then pivoted to attacking Trump about DACA, saying, "And, secondly, we're hearing tomorrow that he might do away with DACA, which is another moral line that he would be crossing, which is something that would be advancing a white supremacy agenda, and also against what the majority of Americans want. Why do liberals make everything about race? Watch below. Watch now. More. Related. Breaking News 24. Scientist proves Al Gore wrong and then upstages him in an epic way. In Al Gore's original film An Inconvenient Truth, Gore predicted that New York City would already be underwater. His newest film, An Inconvenient Sequel, is just as wrong. Climatologist Roy Spencer disproved his documentary with a book of his own called An Inconvenient Deception. Al Gore's new movie An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power, is reviewed for its accuracy in climate science and energy policy. As was the case with Gore's first movie, An Inconvenient Truth, the movie is bursting with bad science, bad policy and some outright falsehoods, writes Spencer. The storm events Gore addresses occur naturally, and there is little or no evidence they are being made worse from human activities. Sea level is rising at the same rate it was before humans started burning fossil fuels. In Miami Beach, the natural rise is magnified because buildings and streets were constructed on reclaimed swampland that has been sinking. The 9/11 memorial was not flooded by sea level rise from melting ice sheets, but a storm surge at high tide, which would have happened anyway and was not predicted by Gore in his first movie, writes Spencer. Gore is correct that it is right to save humanity, but what we might need saving from the most are bad decisions that reduce prosperity and hurt the poor, wrote Spencer of Gore's proposed energy policies. This scientist not only disproved Gore's movie, he also beat him in sales. The ebook that accompanies Gore's film is ranked number 51,031 for purchases in the Kindle store. Spencer's book, on the other hand, is ranked at number 1,201. Watch now. More. Related. Breaking News 24. Breaking: beloved Fox host just abruptly retired after 18 years. There has unfortunately been a great deal of staff turnover at Fox News in the past 2 years. The conservative network has witnessed the departure of leading on-screen personalities such as Bill O'Reilly, Greta Van Susteren and Andrea Tantros, as well as behind-the-scenes leaders such as Roger Ailes and Bill Shine. Now, sadly, one more well-known Fox News host has said his goodbyes to his viewers, this time making the voluntary decision to leave. In a highly surprising move, Fox and Friends host Clayton Morris made the announcement on air that, following that day's episode, he would be leaving not just Fox News but all of broadcast television behind. Stated Clayton during the show, fighting back tears, "I've decided after 18 years in broadcast television." He added, I didn't think I was gonna do this. That today will be my last day in television. The show then played highlights of Morris' work on the program. Morris continued to his viewers, "I don't think you'll see me on television ever again." He stated that he was going to work on helping regular Americans learn how to build up their personal wealth. He concluded, "Love you all. I'll miss you all." Commented Clayton's wife Natalie via Twitter, "Watching my husband at Clayton Morris anchor his last show on Fox. I'm really proud of how he's represented himself over the last 10 years. Clayton himself posted on Twitter, "Walking into this studio for the final time this morning. 18 years in broadcast morning television. I'm grateful, but I'm ready to rock. Will you miss seeing Clayton Morris on Fox News? Watch below." Watch now. More. Related. Breaking News 24. How's Comey going to explain this? McCallum drops bombshell on Comey. Following his firing at the hands of Republican President Donald Trump, disgraced former FBI Director James Comey probably thought he was going to slip quietly into the night without any more prodding into how he may have broken the law to help former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Unfortunately for Comey, it looks like an investigation into his alleged wrongdoing is just getting started. Fox News contributor Martha McCallum just brought widespread attention to a report published by The Wall Street Journal saying that the ousted FBI director wrote a letter exonerating Clinton in advance well before the investigation into her emails was finished, and even sent the letter to other FBI officials. The article says how Senators Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley asked current FBI Chief Christopher Wray for more details about Comey's decision to let Hillary off the hook. Stated the report, the two senators wrote that according to unredacted portions of the transcripts, which were generated in a separate federal investigation, in April or early May of 2016, Mr. Comey had already decided he would issue a statement exonerating Secretary Clinton. That was long before FBI agents finished their work. Mr. Comey even circulated an early draft statement to select members of senior FBI leadership. The outcome of an investigation should not be prejudged while FBI agents are still hard at work trying to gather the facts. The article continued, as of early May 2016, the FBI had not yet interviewed Secretary Clinton. Moreover, it had yet to finish interviewing 16 other key witnesses, including Cheryl Mills, Brian Pagliano, Heather Samuelson, Justin Cooper, and John Bentel. Tweeting out the article, McCallum commented pithily, "How's Comey going to explain this? Do you think Comey needs to face justice for what he did?" Watch now. More. Related. Breaking News 24. Taya Kyle has perfect response to libs who are angry Melania wore high heels. Liberals are running out of valid reasons to attack Republican President Donald Trump, his family and his associates, so they have been inventing petty outrages about them and then spreading them on social media. The latest idiotic iteration of this happened when President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump boarded a plane to go visit victims of Hurricane Harvey in flood-ravaged Texas. One photo taken of Melania as she was boarding Air Force One showed her wearing high-heeled shoes. Even though the First Lady took the high heels off and wore sneakers from the time she boarded the plane, this was still apparently fodder for the left-wing fake news controversy mill. Fox News commentator Taya Kyle, who is the widow of celebrated sniper Chris Kyle, took these liberals to task for their foolish slams against Melania. Said Kyle about the criticism Melania got for the high heels, "I was actually stunned by it. It took me a second to get my emotions in check. I was almost speechless." She added, "I've always felt like truth matters, right, and I feel like sometimes in our culture we're getting into this thing where smoke and mirrors are supposed to matter more, and we should care more about covering up the truth of things than just being who we are." Taya continued, "Donald and Melania Trump have money. That's okay with me. I just want them to do their jobs. I don't need smoke and mirrors to make the optics look better. To me, optics says, come on, at least try to fool the people. She finished by explaining that needy people in Texas don't care about optics during an emergency, saying, "What you care about is, do you have a generator? Is your dog safe? Are you going to make it through tomorrow? Is Taya right?" Watch below. Watch now. More. Related. Breaking News 24. Mess them up, Huckabee tells Alabama voters how to stick it to establishment. The Washington, D.C. political establishment on both sides of the political aisle has tried its hardest to silence and block populist President Donald Trump. However, Trump backer Mike Huckabee has remained very vocal in helping Trump and his regular American supporters stay strong despite this pressure. In an op-ed piece on his personal website, Huckabee told voters in the state of Alabama about one clear thing they can do to send a powerful message to the political elite. Wrote Mike about the special election to fill Jeff Sessions' vacant Senate seat, "I have good friends in Alabama whose support is split between Senator Luther Strange, who was strangely appointed to the post by disgraced Governor Robert Bentley, who made the appointment just as he was shown the door and resigned from office, and Judge Roy Moore, who was famous for his fights to preserve the display of the Ten Commandments on state property." He continued, "My support of Roy Moore has nothing to do with specific displeasure with the appointed Senator Luther Strange, but because if the power brokers in D.C. are as desperate as they seem to be to keep Judge Moore from joining them, then they must fear that he can't be counted on to join the club." Huckabee added, "And that is a good reason to support Judge Moore and hope that it sends a message to the do-nothing Congress that ought to be standing with our president to reform health care, taxes, infrastructure, national security, and job-killing regulation. Imagine the progress we'd have if members of Congress were as dedicated to helping the president's plans for the economy as they are in going on TV to complain about a tweet he sent out." Do you agree with Huckabee?